Well, Ben, it's great to have you back on, man.
Cable, likewise, as always. Appreciate it.
So I'm looking at move your head just a little bit. I'm trying to see this bad boy here. It looks like a red deer.
This is one of our CEO Laird's.
It looks like a red stag.
Yeah, no, isn't it? Check the tag.
What does it say there?
You nailed it. Red stag.
That's a nice one. So not yours though. Laird shot that one.
No, yeah, I'm in the office today, so
Oh,
I've got a nice corner.
Yeah, right on, right on. Well, we've got a lot to get into today. Starting with, and we were just talking about this off the air, but Britt Longoria very involved with SEI. Her dad was as well.
Oh yeah.
She had a great Instagram page, and her messaging was pretty clear. It wasn't glorifying the kill, and it was really educational. It was on travel and some, a lot of stuff on indigenous culture. But at the end of the day, a woman holding a dead animal, I guess, just gets reported too much. She had like almost 50,000 followers, and under the cover of darkness, she woke up and her page had been disabled, just gone, no explanation.
Yeah. I mean, I always look forward to all of her posts. I mean, super strong account with great, thoughtful content. That just was much more than just grip and grin photos, right? I mean, it really did tell an awesome, positive narrative about experience in the world and getting out and traveling and being close to the earth. And yeah, like we were talking about before we hopped on, just to have an account like that, just pulled down dark and night without any explanations other than, that big brother message of, you are no longer. It's not really, not very settling to see things play out that way and not really see any answers.
A horrible precedent for the rest of the hunting community, because hers, out of all the pages that I follow, and certainly my page, hers is way less offensive. Like my page doesn't offend you, but to the non-hunter, yeah, you might once in a while see a little bit of blood. Like, here's what the effects of it, but educational. Like, this is what a broadhead did to this animal. This is how this tool works.
Yep.
Which I think is educational, but it's still bloody. And
sure.
And while I don't glorify the kill, I certainly am not afraid to put political stuff on there. And she didn't even do that. So to see her page get squashed was, it makes me pretty nervous for the rest of us.
Yeah, we made sure to get it up on our account, just to show like what had happened and let people know out of awareness. Also she's part of the family, and Papa Joe and everything he's ever done for us. But just wanted to sound that alarm, let other people see, where things are headed. People talk about cancel culture, and just looking at real examples of it that are out there, and still not getting answers. So
yeah, no, there's no accountability from Instagram or Facebook. I've had my Facebook page disabled multiple times, and they'll say you've got a 3-day ban. Recently, last week, I was doing a firearm giveaway, and next thing you know, I'm locked out of my page for 3 days. And they were saying I was selling a gun, which I wasn't. I was giving it away. So it didn't violate their rules as they were written, but they're free to interpret them how they want and make them up as they go. So
they're the bosses. That's brutal.
Right. Yeah.
So did that get sorted out? They let you back
on? They let me back on. But there's been times where it said a 3-day ban, and 40 days later, I'm still trying to get my account back. So I don't know. But this wasn't. That's the weird thing about Instagram is no ban, no nothing, just deleted account.
Yep. See ya.
It's crazy. Well, stuff that's kind of at the forefront of what we want to get into as far as your position and legal affairs possibly affecting the hunting and conservation community. Let's start with the 30. Well, it's not 3430. That's like an ESPN deal, but 30-30.
30 by 30, 30x30.
Yeah, there's so many, like, and it used to be like if you were a baseball player and you hit 30 home runs and stole 30 bases, like that was pretty cool too.
Right.
And then Jose Canseco took a couple gallons full of steroids, and then he did a 40-40.
Yeah.
But anyway, what is 30-30 pertaining to us as a hunting and conservation?
Well, that is the $1 million question, right? We're all saying, what is this 30 by 30? But just historically, so there's the Convention for Biological Diversity, or CBD, out of Europe. They had their, their big conference, and they laid out a goal for the whole global community to commit to conserving 30% of our land and water by the year 2030.
Okay.
When Biden came into office, he signed a slew of executive orders. He was busy the first week, basically just doing that. And one of them was on climate change.
So many.
Yeah, so many. And one of them was on climate change and had a big section in it on America committing to that goal set out where we would conserve 30% of our land and water by the year 2030. Sounds great in principle. Who doesn't want to have wild places, wild things? But for us as sportsmen, we've seen it go the wrong direction before. Before it was cool to be 30 by 30, California passed their own 30 by 30 bill that didn't consult whatsoever with the sportsman's community. It's like, wait a minute, what about all this land that we manage, actively, state refuges, national wildlife refuges? Does that not count towards your goals? Why weren't we consulted with? We are the original conservationists. Not only should we have a seat at the table, but we should have a big stake at the table.
And we're paying for all the stuff that you're talking about without our input.
Absolutely. Exactly. So we've got the same concerns, with the White House and the EO, obviously. Is it aspirational? Are you actually trying to do something? Are you going to listen to stakeholders? And basically, it's that baseline definition. They say conserve 30%, right? What's conserve mean to you? For us, it's managing the land, right? It's that North American model.
Conservation.
Right. Exactly.
It's right there.
For others, they'll do it in a John Muir style of preservation, of lock it up, don't let man on this land. So we're trying to get to the bottom of it. Part of the executive order was a report would be done by Department of Interior and Department of Agriculture. And that report came due last week on the 27th. But nobody's seen it other than like the high level bureaucrats. So call it, Biden's best kept secret. We're just trying to.
Why is no one allowed to see this thing?
Oh, I don't know. It's a good question. But let's ask folks, to start calling over to the White House to ask why.
He's got a pretty good track record of keeping things from us. Like no one's allowed to go to the border, right?
Right.
Like, why is that? Oh, because it's a colossal mess that you've created down there.
Nothing to see here. Right. We want to see it. My suspicions are that there aren't actual details to it still. They still have it as aspirational. I have no idea what the plan actually is. So,
yeah, and that was the thing that SCI and a lot of lawmakers tried to get the new Secretary of the Interior, Deb Haaland, to commit to, was no net loss, right?
Yep, absolutely.
But she wouldn't do it. And then you see, boom, like 2 weeks into her appointment or confirmation, this whole Alaska mess where they're trying to ban hunting. Well, they do it with the caveat of saying, no, we're not closing it to hunting. You just can't hunt moose or caribou in September and August. Well, that's when you hunt moose and caribou. So right. Yes, you are closing it.
Absolute closure.
Yeah, and this is a landmass the size of the state of Georgia. It's 43 million acres. We did a detailed interview I was telling you with Louis Cusack, the SCI Alaska chapter president. He hunts in one of those units. He hunts caribou there. He's an Alaskan resident, and he would be prohibited from hunting caribou there.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how they want to spin it about it not really being a shutdown. Hunters know it, so Deb Haaland's confirmation, we got out there messaging out on it, right? We had that question out there. We said, will you commit to a no net loss policy for hunting and fishing access on public lands? We talked about it with Senator Daines from Montana. He asked her in person during the hearing. She wouldn't answer it. Right. Very, very simple question. It's not even hard to commit to it, or at least let us know where you stand on it. She wouldn't do it. So our members followed up with a huge campaign, thousands of emails to all their senators, get a response, still wouldn't commit to it. So then I hate to be like hate to tell you that I told you so. But sure enough, the Alaska issue happened. And just any hunter out there, they get the issue. We put up a petition and got, over 2,000 folks to within 48 hours sign on to it saying commit to no net loss. We testified during the public hearing in Alaska, obviously in favor of keeping it open. And it was 25-1 pro access. So we're waiting to see how it comes back, but just gross overreach can happen really quickly, and just expect to see more of it unless we keep on shouting.
Yeah.
Well, every turn of this, we're going to see these public comment opportunities and opportunities for, folks to speak up. Our petition's still open because we're going to keep seeing it happen. So if folks want to get on board and be heard, it's text access to 73075. That gets you right on the petition.
Okay. And just some stats about the Alaska thing. People are like, well, why do we need to go in there and hunt caribou and moose, whatever? The caribou herd, 244,000 animals. There's scientists say if it's over 200,000, we're doing great. So, and here's the real catch: is subsistence hunters, the native folks there, are killing between 10 and 14,000 a year. The only time they can hunt year round. The only time they can't hunt is during calving season. So when the cows have the calves, they're not supposed to hunt. They can kill bulls, they can kill cows, and they can kill even young fawns, calves, if they want to. So they're killing that many. The real number to focus on is the fact that the hunters who actually will pay to fly in there, it's expensive to get back in there. It's very remote. It's 350 animals, all bulls. They're only allowed to kill bulls. It's 350 a year out of 244,000. And they're saying that those flights are interrupting the migration, which is just total BS.
Right. It's made up science. There's not even science. It's just a bad talking point.
Right. So there's the scientific hardcore number, the data right there for you.
Well, it was cool at least to see the whole community rally and see it, and just nationally, start to speak up on it. Because
it took a lot of organizations too long to speak out, in my opinion. Like I'm sitting here waiting. All of these organizations that backed her appointment, which we knew was questionable, but they're championing her like she's a great choice in our opinion, mine and SCI. She wasn't and isn't.
Well, I will say that I love when just the community forces some folks to have to actually stand up for hunters,
Right.
I don't like what got them there, and then they had to be dragged out there. They didn't want to say anything bad about Deb Holland or about Interior, but they were forced to do it.
Yeah.
And even after they did, they still kept getting crapped on by everybody. So that's okay.
Yeah. Well, deservedly so.
Right.
What about trophy bands? And I'm gonna put a little backstory here. I'm going back to Africa in July, and the thought of shooting a giraffe never really crossed my mind. I number one, where am I going to put it?
Right.
I'm running out of room in the trophy room. Where am I going to put a damn giraffe? I don't know. Number two, it wasn't really something, I always just thought they were cool, but it wasn't something like, oh, I'm not going to shoot it because they're big and pretty. I just didn't have the desire. And then two things happened. Number one, my kids were like, Dad, this will be your 5th trip to Africa. Why don't you shoot a giraffe? I was like, y'all really want me to shoot a giraffe? Yeah, Dad, we want you to shoot a giraffe. Okay, so then I'm like, okay, all right. Then number two, they're trying to tell us right now today that they're going to put giraffe they're going to make it the big 6. And it's no longer going to be the big 5. It's going to be the big 6. Giraffe's going to be in there. And then we're going to start seeing all these giraffe importation bans. And it's like, now you're telling me I can't do it? Well, by God, I'm going to do it then.
Yep. Then I'm coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. The CITES, the International Convention on Species Trade, it was added onto their appendix this last meeting in 2019. So it's trending that way. But yeah, you see all these.
Because there was no meeting in 2020.
No meeting in 2020. They just had a standing committee meeting today, tomorrow, and the next day. So they're starting to come back together virtually, but they just totally kiboshed last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're back in person in Geneva in the fall, but we'll see.
So the thing about giraffe is that it's not endangered. It's like I always use this example. The Florida panther is endangered in Florida. Mountain lions are not endangered in Colorado or anywhere else throughout the West. Hell, we don't even have you don't even have to get a tag in Texas. We treat them like coyotes or bobcats. And we have lots of them. So it's this false ideology that they try to proliferate and get people to believe that, well, giraffes are endangered in, I don't know, let's just say Tanzania. So that means they're endangered across all of the African continent, which is just a load of crap. So
Yep. And not to jump all over the planet, but it makes me think of these wolf lawsuits, the three that were filed in the Northern District of California, where basically the injury that they're claiming is, loss of wolf population. Well, the area where they're filed, there isn't a single wolf there.
mm.
Okay. So, like,
Right.
how is there any injury there? And
Yeah.
that's our argument. And they tried to toss it out. They tried to have the court toss it out, and the court upheld it. So we're the first and only hunting group to successfully intervene in those three cases as of last week.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
excited there.
Yeah.
Be a fun fight.
But I guess it's just the fact that giraffe are big and spotted, and people are like,
Right.
oh, they're so pretty.
There's the emotional
They're also
attachment.
pretty tasty. I ate one my buddy shot. So
I've never had it. Oh yeah, is it good?
Oh yeah, it was delicious. I haven't ever eaten anything short of a bobcat. I haven't eaten anything that I was like, man, that's just gross. So
Yeah, right.
yeah, I mean, it's meat, and giraffe steaks were awesome. We had them in camp the night my buddy shot his. It was yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, wolves have been in the news though. Well, they always are.
Always will be. Yeah.
But we're seeing at least like but is it all of the Great Lake states? The Great Lake states now have the ability to have a season, or is that getting hung up in court? No. It was it in Wisconsin where they had a season and they met the quota in like 2 or 3 days?
Yeah, it was quick. I don't even know if it took 2 or 3 days. It may have been the first 24 hours that they were able to meet it. And like,
that means you have too many wolves if they were that easy
No
to kill,
doubt.
because they are not easy to kill.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I guess people had spent the last decade scouting, right? So they were. But that was incredible because the wolf was delisted by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, saying return it to state management. And then Wisconsin was like, well, we're going to wait till next season. It's like, no, the law says, the season will be held now. There's still like a week left in the season. So they challenged in court and they got it together and they got their season and they hit their quota real quick.
Yeah. I also saw something, so I don't know, that's probably something that the antis will use as fodder, is like, wow, they met their quota in 3 days, blah, 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 which is a great thing conservation wise. But have we seen any lawsuits come out of, people trying to sue Wisconsin saying, this is
I haven't seen a Wisconsin specific suit that's progressed anywhere at this
They'll
point.
come.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. I mean, the big firepower is behind these three lawsuits in California, because that's the lower 48. That's the whole population, other than the desert wolf, right? The Mexican wolf.
Right. Okay. Did you see the news release from Idaho Fishing Game?
Yes.
So to their credit, and I have talked to them at the previous SCI shows, and they will not go on the record and say they do this, but they'll tell you off the record that they fly helicopters and shoot wolves. They do it.
Sure.
They don't want it to be in the public eye. But now they have come out this year, just last week, and said, we have 1,500 wolves. We're supposed to have 150. We're going to kill the other 90%, or we're going to try to. Which is like, wow, someone, a wildlife division with some balls saying, listen, we're going to take control of this thing. This is how many wolves the Fed said we have to have. We have had that, and then 90% more going on decades, and we're going to put an end to it.
Put it back down to where it needs to be. Yeah, I think I didn't see if the governor signed it yet, but it's on his desk to get it done.
I hope that he does do it.
Yeah, some of it's just the messaging on it too. Like, all the antis go nuts because it's like they're like, Armageddon for the wolf in Idaho, but it's getting them back to their managed level.
Yeah, and it's not. I don't think they're going to be able to go in there and kill, that many wolves in a season, and they might not ultimately ever get it down to that number again. But just to say, hey, this is what we're supposed to have, and we're going to at least make an effort to get there. So
rather than tiptoeing around it.
Yeah, rather than gerrymandering to the anti-hunting faction out there.
Right.
What about, let's see, one other note I have here, Alligators. They were in a recent press release that you sent out, your biweekly release. What's going on there?
Louisiana Gator, I mean, fighting, alongside all of our good friends and preventing a ban from going in, stateside. A lot of it has to do with, the commercial side of it, but would also, obviously impact sport hunting. So that's one of those fights that we really get involved in to team up with some of our partners, that aren't always necessarily right in the hunting world, but are fighting against the same, opponents that want to see the same end result.
So what kind of stipulations are they trying to put in place there?
I think it'd be cross state lines, so being able to just export.
Okay.
You've seen it in California where it's a total shutdown there. I think California is like,
So like at a gas station when you see the alligator heads on the shelves, like that kind of stuff, where you can buy the little alligator for
yeah,
$30.
I imagine that would probably be swept up in it. I think most of it's like the, cowboy boots and Hermes bags,
Okay.
like some
Yeah.
high end use of like the skin.
So a lot of these are farmed anyway. So what does it matter? Like it's no
Exactly.
different than farming
It's basically just
salmon or redfish or you name whatever it is. People don't
right.
realize that unless it says wild caught at the grocery store, it's farm raised.
Exactly.
They've figured out a way to farm raise just about everything.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just, yeah. I mean, again, it's just an iconic species. It's giving the rights to the animals ahead of just what makes sense. I mean, there's no threat to the population.
Yeah. So in Texas, it's weird. I had a biologist on 2 years ago. We have more alligators right now today than at any time we've had since like the 1930s or something like that.
I believe
Our population, I mean, gators are doing phenomenal, and there's going to be more hunting opportunity because of it, because they're showing up. Hell, a duck hunting hole that I have, there's no stream anywhere near this place. 3-foot alligator shows up. We've never seen an alligator before. Where the hell did this thing come from? It had to have come during a flood or something. I don't know, but
kind of cool.
Yeah,
they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah. So it's weird, but no shortage of alligators. Let's not treat them like they're an endangered species. And I do love my gator boots, that's for sure.
I'm always looking at a pair. I don't have any yet.
I shot the gator and then sat on the hide for I had it tanned, this real beautiful chocolate, the underbelly, and I just kind of threw it in the closet. And I think I looked at how expensive boots were, and then I was just like, eh. And then I ran into a guy. He was like, hey, my buddy makes boots, and he's looking for some advertising. And I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, I got the boots. They're the most comfortable.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So plug for Knight's Custom boots there as well.
Where's Knight's Custom out of?
Houston.
Cool.
Yeah. And now he's offering, he's partnered up with the guy that I hunted gators with. They do it's cool. They do an early teal and gator combo hunt, fin and fowl outfitters on the Texas coast. So he's partnered up with them, all in deal where you get your gator and then get the boots made as part of the package.
Right on. So, Smart businessman right there.
Yeah, entrepreneur.
Fin and fowl. I like it.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't really think I have anything else here on the list. Is there anything on the off the top of your head that you wanted to add to today's discussion?
Just one mention that we saw pop yesterday is there's a proposed rule at a Fish and Wildlife Service to open up 2 million acres of new hunting and fishing opportunity. It's a comment period, so people have to write in and have their voice heard to make sure that the proposal becomes a reality. I imagine, based off of just what I see on online chatter so far, that a lot of comments will be made from the other side. So just, want to appeal to hunters to really speak up and be on the lookout. We're going to have petition going that'll make it easy to have your comments heard. So nothing in Texas, but all over the country, some different spots, that would have new seasons and additional days added on. So something that we want to be able to fight for over the next few days.
And where can folks go to support that initiative?
Well,
how can folks support that?
Yeah, I mean, I would Do again, text access to 73075. That'll get you plugged into our system, and then we'll be able to just deliver it, to hunters to
Okay.
get their comments in.
And then quick mention, the convention will be in person.
Yes.
January of
Yep. End of January
2020.
2022 in Las Vegas.
Yeah. So I'm excited to get back into
I can't wait. Are you gonna have a setup out like on a broadcast row or?
No, I don't know. We'll talk to the powers that be about that. I'm not sure, but I'll be there with my recording stuff, so we'll see.
You're going to find your next adventure, right? It's
Oh,
not a work trip.
It's both. Yeah. So
you're in the right business. Yeah, I'm so excited. It's our 50th anniversary. We're pulling out all the stops. I know over the next couple months we're going to be rolling out a lot of the different opportunities and the entertainment and everything that's going to be going on during it. But I'm pumped. I know everyone else I talked to's got that pent up, energy from having missed the whole season.
Oh yeah.
So I just can't wait. And that's Las Vegas at Mandalay, and then we're gonna hit up Nashville for 3 years after that. So a lot of fun.
Yeah, and for more info, you can just go to safariclub.org for a convention, like hotel blocks and all that good stuff. So
yeah, I want to say we're running a promo too. If you go to our Instagram, it's like yesterday we posted on it, like a 2 buy 2 get 2 sort of thing. Togo, BOGO,
BOGO.
I think it's Togo.
I did a BOGO axis deer hunt one time. But that's a story for another day.
I thought I was getting a bongo.
Yeah. No, that would have been here's my truck. Because I don't have $35,000 for your bongo.
Certainly not.
Yeah. But all right. Well, hey, Ben, always a pleasure, man. Look forward to the next conversation.
Yep, me too. Appreciate it.
All right. Take it easy.
You too.